What are some of the artists that inspired you in your early music versus some of the artists that are inspiring you now?
What's funny is that early on in our career, people would ask what was inspiring us, and we'd say, well, we grew up in the 80s, so, you know, Duran Duran and David Bowie and Cyndi Lauper and Bruce Springsteen and U2, and then people would be like, well, you don't sound anything like that. And now, when people were asking, like, well, what inspired Heartthrob? For me, Sara, it was more current, you know, music, but I was listening to Kate Bush and David Bowie and Duran Duran and Pet Shop Boys, and I was like, I think we've just gotten better at sounding like the things we really are influenced by. But ultimately, Sara and I are not really a band. I mean, we're a writing team,
right,
in a sense, so we're not limited by a genre. We're not limited by one sound. I think each of our records reflects where we're at that point in time, and I think for us to keep it fresh and keep it interesting for ourselves and our fan base, we have to constantly sort of reinvent ourselves. So I think I'm still listening to all that 80s music we grew up listening to, and 90s music, and all this current music that's happening on pop radio, Sara pointed out, is really inspiring. So I think we're just getting better at maybe emulating those things.
Now, would you say that 21 and 22-year-old Tegan and Sara would be big fans of 32-year-old Tegan and Sara?
Definitely.
I think so, because I think that we've always been sort of interested in what was happening in pop culture, and then also, you know, I think that we're smart artists. You know, we're not sort of like dumbing it down. We're trying to make intelligent pop music that's interesting and challenging. And I think even at 2021, even though our interests were a little narrower, like I think we were a little more hyper focused, but I think we would have been really excited by what's happening in our life and would have thought it was really cool. So I think we've done right by those young Tegan and Sara people.
Nice.
We definitely look better than we did at 20 or 21, so that we would be totally fine with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, money does that too.
It took a lot more than money. No, just kidding. I'm totally kidding. This is natural. No, I think that we sort of like, I think our confidence and our, you know, like the ease that we are now at 32 would have been cool to us.
Yeah, and when we were first putting out records, what was popular was like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, and we did listen to that music and watch those videos and found it so fascinating, but we would have never at 20, like we were like little alternative queer kids, we would have never been like, oh yeah, we can be just like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. Music has changed, it's evolved, and what's popular right now, although there's lots of sexy females in the mainstream, there's also really alternative, you keep going back to Robin, but there's lots of really amazing stuff that's hit the mainstream this year and last year. You know, from the XX and Florence and the Machine and Fun and Goche, it's like the mainstream doesn't always have to be I'm wearing a bathing suit top and dancing around. Yeah. Although I have nothing wrong against that. I like that. I'm into that. I just would never do it. If Sara wants to do it, I was saying this last night, if she wants to start Instagramming, you know, racing.
Selfies.
Yeah, go for it. You know, I'm into
probably
that.
not going to.
She's not going to, but if she wants to, I support her, but I'm going to probably continue to layer.
Right.
So, yeah.